Thanks for staying with us on Citizen Weekend. My name is Lillian Muli. Nixon Korir, better known as Generali, is a young, brilliant leader. He emerged victorious in the August 8th general election with 40,085 votes, trouncing 16 others who contested for the seat. The contest for the elective post was a tough one, considering the constituency had been an opposition stronghold and he was vying on a Jubilee Party ticket. Prior to joining politics, the Member of Parliament was working for the government as a Secretary for Youth Affairs. He's also the founding chairman of the United Republican Party, URP, that was formerly led by Deputy President William Ruto. He's our guest in studio this evening. Langata, Member of Parliament, Nixon Korir. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, Lily.
So, why politics? Reading you up, I see that you are a law graduate. Why did you choose politics over practicing law?
When I was a law student, I joined politics. If it was to go back to when I was in the university, when I was in first year, I was a congressman. In second year, I was a School of Law president. Yeah. And in third year and fourth year, I was the Secretary General of SONO.
This is in which university?
University of Nairobi. University of Nairobi. Secretary General of SONO, Students Organization, Nairobi University. So I started way back. It is something that I think it has been in me. So it is not a new thing. I didn't start politics when I cleared university.
And the URP connection, being the founding chairman of the United Republican Party, there are those who now say that you are a product of Deputy President William Ruto, that your position right now is courtesy of your relations with him.
William Ruto is a friend of mine. He's my deputy party leader. I met William Ruto way back when I was in the University of Nairobi, when I was a student leader. So someone like William Ruto has a story in terms of politics and growth. It's a story that some of us who have an humble background and want to rise in politics would admire. And every Kenyan would admire how he's grown in politics, and he's a good man to be a friend.
Right. Yes. You say everybody that has a humble background would relate very well with Deputy President William Ruto, and Deputy President William Ruto has spoke about his humble beginnings. Do you have the same story?
Yes, yes. I come from a family. My late dad really struggled to educate us, and he used to love politics also, and he gave us a chance in education, but it was a struggle. We had several fundraisings to go to school when I was in high school. Lucky enough, I passed in high school and joined Nairobi University, and therefore I was educated by the government through the job help loan. So it's a similar story.
So you're not a product of affluence. Where did you go to primary school? People like to be associated with others. So where did you went to Nairobi University, but where were you in primary and high school? In
primary school, I was in a place called Solai. That's where I grew up, and that's where I was born. I was born in Solai Dispensary, and I went to
Solai Dispensary.
Yes,
you remember?
That's where my records are. And I went to primary school in Setkobor. Yeah. It's in Solai. I went to high school partly in Emining, which is in Mogotio, and then Kabrak High School in my final year. Then I joined Nairobi University in 2006, and I cleared in 2010.
And you had a stint with modeling.
Yes, while in campus, I mean, we were hustling for money, and I remember that day I was taking my girlfriend, who is now my wife, to go and take photos.
Oh, ladies, he's married. Okay, we'll get to the marriage part.
Yeah, to take some photos for modeling. And while I was there, one of the photographer told me to try a few. And unfortunately, the photos that I took earned me a job where I was taking my girlfriend. So I got the job instead of her.
Wow.
So that's how it started. But
and I've seen, I think I remember seeing you on a billboard.
Yes, I did so many adverts for Sony Sugar, for Barclays, for Zain, for Visa, so many. But that was back then. So
it's the good looks. The good looks served to your advantage. Yep. Let's talk about young parliamentarians, because we've seen many of them now get into the system. A lot of people ask how young parliamentarians, especially the posh and the fashionable ones, are making their money aside from politics. We're going to get into politics shortly, but aside from politics, what's your hustle? What do you do?
I'm a businessman. I'm in hotel business. I'm also in service industry. I own different businesses, small scale, just trying to fix things. So I'm a businessman.
And to the question of Generali, why Generali? Because that's, by the way, that's his nickname. He's better known as Generali. And in your campaign posters, I saw a lot of the Generali tagline. So why, how did this name come about?
Generali, Lillian, is not a nickname anymore. It is part of my name. It is in my identity card.
Really?
Yes.
What does your identity card read?
Generali Nixon Korir.
Wow.
Yes, this is what happened. I remember after 2013, I vied in 2013 for the same position, Member of Parliament, Langata constituency. Unfortunately, I didn't make it. I lost to Joash Olum, who was the member for Langata, ODM. I was number 2 then. From that time, I stayed in Langata and I stayed with the people, and I did so many projects with them, stuck with them, stayed with them, supported them. And then...
By staying with them, you mean you lived there?
Yeah, I lived in Langata even before 2013. Immediately I cleared campus, I was living in Langata. So stayed with them in terms of doing them, supporting them, giving them projects. When I was the Secretary of Youth Affairs, I got so many information, and I used to organize programs and support them, open car wash for them, supporting young people in economic activities. So in the process, I related with them very closely until they called me Generali. Yeah, that's like one of their leader. And then that name stuck. In 2017, when I was campaigning, one person met me in town one day and said, Nixon, you need to work hard in Langata. There is someone called Generali who's really working hard and he might take over. Yeah. So I realized the name Generali was getting bigger, and people were not relating, some of the people were not relating it with me. And I knew some young people could go to the ballot and look for the name Generali and they didn't find it. So I decided to also add it, do a deed poll. So
the name Generali was on the ballot?
Yes.
Wow, okay, very interesting story. Langata constituency attracted very youthful aspirants this time around. Why is that?
There are so many young people who live in Langata. If you look at the population, general population, of course, young people are more in the entire country. But when you look at Langata constituency, there are so many institutions. When you look at JKUAT University, you look at Strathmore, you look at these other institutions, KMTC, Multimedia, all those institutions have branches in Langata. And therefore, most of the young people who study in those institutions live in Langata, and they are voters in Langata. And therefore, it is very easy to relate to them. And therefore, very many young people also, I remember in 2013 we were many, but in 2017 very many young people came out to vie for various positions, and I think that's a very good thing.
Right, let's take a look at how you fared. From what I have here, you emerged victorious with 40,085 votes, is that correct?
Yes, that's true.
Okay, and you trounced 16 others who contested for this particular seat. Langata constituency is an ODM stronghold, it's an opposition stronghold. What served to your advantage? Why did people vote for a Jubilee candidate?
My election in Langata, first I want to thank the people of Langata for giving me this opportunity. I have done it before, but I want to thank them once again for giving me this opportunity. My election as a Langata MP is a true indication that Kenyan politics is changing, and the traditional factors like tribalism is fading away, because if that was the main factor, I wouldn't stand a chance, for example. And I want to say that Langata people chose Nixon Korir because, as I said, I vied in 2013, I lost, but I never disappeared. Naturally, normally people, when they vie and lose, they disappear until the last year, and then they come back again to give it a try. I served, I was like the second MP in Langata. When I lost in 2013, Joash Olum was there, was the member of parliament, but he disappeared on people, and I saw a chance, and I stuck with the people. We've done so many projects. It's a calling, when you are doing something that you love, you don't run away. I've been with the people of Langata for 5 years, doing so many projects with women, building toilets, supporting car washes, initiating groups, youth groups, and supporting them so that we can move together. And I think very many people saw if I was doing that before I was elected, they decided to give me an opportunity. Of course, I sold a manifesto that people elected. Right. Yes.
And aside from the fact that you talk of Langata constituency having a lot of young people residing there, and what with all the universities and colleges, let's talk about the fact that it's a constituency with very many clubs. I'm not even going to talk about how many, because they are, this is known as, apart from Westlands, this is another electric avenue or highway, for lack of a better word. We've got 1824, there's Rafiki's, there's Pitstop, there's Carnivore, the list is endless. You've got a lot of clubs there, not a bad thing. I mean, people need to find time to go and enjoy themselves. But there's also a bulk of the young people that are finding themselves consumed in this night lifestyle. We know there have been a lot of traffic accidents along that highway as well because of, you know, too much alcohol consumption. Your thoughts on that?
In terms of business, it's a good thing to have businesses. As you said, Langata constituency has so many clubs. Of course, I think the leading is Westlands, then Langata. Very many young people are engaging in drug abuse, and not necessarily from Langata constituency, because those people come to Langata also to party, and the young people come to club, are not necessarily living in Langata. But in terms of business, as a business destination for such businesses, I think it is not a bad thing to have such businesses. But I think it is also, I want to talk to the young people that we don't live a party life. You know, very many young people are living like they are retirees, that you work from Monday to Friday, then spend on Saturday and Sunday, then you work again. When you go to Monday, you are broke person. So I think it is a tradition that we need to change, and that's a culture that we need to talk to very many young people, so that we enjoy, but we enjoy it with some limits. Yes.
I want to read out a comment here. Congratulations, Mheshimiwa, for taking over leadership of Langata constituency. We have many stalled city projects in the constituency. The one of interest to many where I live is the completion of tarmacking of the road between 5-Star Estate and Tree Olive Hospital. Can this road be completed? That's one of the comments.
Yes, I know the road. I don't know the road. It is in South Sea. 5-Star is in South Sea, and I know the condition of that road is very bad. We just took over, and we are establishing now the CDF committees, and but the roads, we have the Kira roads which fall under the MP. There are some roads that I found out the previous MP had initiated the process of doing them, but 5-Star is not one of them, but it is in my priority list. Some of the roads will be done by Kenya Urban Roads Authority, Kura. That road, I think, falls under Kura. Some of the roads, I'm in talking terms with the county government, so that they can chip in, we can fix the roads. There are so many roads that needs to be fixed in Langata. And of course, the biggest major problem is the water problem that we are talking with the county government to ensure that we can fix that problem.
So water is a key issue of concern for residents?
Yes, it is Langata? A big problem. I don't remember the last time I paid a water bill for the city council.
What are you planning to do about that?
It is a three-way thing. First, the volumes of water needs to be worked on in terms of the national government needs to work on reservoirs to ensure that we have enough volumes of water that can serve Nairobi residents. Number two is the issue of the cartels. There are so many cartels that sell water in Langata, and therefore they collude with the officials and so that the officials can block some of the pipes so that we don't have water in Langata, so that they can sell it. So that cartel is something that must be dealt with. I mean, already identifying some of them, and we are working with the residents in Langata to ensure that those cartels are dealt with. And number three is the issue of the piping. You'll realize, Lillian, that most of the pipes that we have in Nairobi were laid long time ago. Even if it is a metal, they rust. So there are so many leakages that needs to be worked on by the county government. And we are already talking with the county government. We were just waiting. They are establishing their cabinet. I mean, their executives. I saw Nixon Korir the other day. Governor Nixon Korir mentioned a few names, proposed names that will go to the parliament. So immediately those officials are appointed. Then we'll work on that water issue. Yes.
Somebody here is saying, ask Mheshimiwa what he's doing for his voters from Mbulbul. This is Edward Kunda. Somebody is saying, congratulations, Mheshimiwa in Karen. We voted for you. This is Mama Shiko in Karen. This Mbulbul.
Mbulbul is yes. It is the outskirts of Langata constituency. It's just it's in Kajiado, but most of the people work in Karen. Most of those people work in Karen as gardeners, and most of the people work in Karen as traders. Most of them cannot afford to live in Karen, so they live in the outskirts, and they live in Bulbul, Gataka, and Rongai, and some of them in these sides of Dagoretti Corner. So I want to tell those people that we are working. As I said, we are establishing our CDF committees so that we can ensure that the function of the MP is, of course, to go and work in Parliament to ensure that we have proper legislations that govern our people. And when you are doing legislation, it is not legislation for Langata, but for the entire country. Number two is in terms of representation, and I've said very many times that I know that I will be representing the people of Langata. Those who voted in Langata, even if you live in Bulbul, you live in Gataka, you live in Rongai, so long as you're a voter of Langata, you are entitled to the benefits of Langata, and we will work to ensure that we represent them well. I know the people of Bulbul, majorly they want bursaries because I cannot make roads in Bulbul. It is in Kajiado, but they want to ensure that we can support them. When in Parliament, I will know that there are people who live in the outskirts of Langata and will support them, and I must support the MPs for those areas and the MCAs also. But issues of bursary and CDF, they are entitled to it because they are voters of Langata.
Right. The million-dollar question here, Mheshimiwa, how old are you?
I'm a young man.
Young is relative. We all believe we're young.
I'm 33 years old.
33.
Yes.
33. So at 33, you're fresh. You're a fresh face in Parliament, together with, of course, the other youthful faces we've seen. There's Babu Owino, there's Jaguar. You are a fresh new face in Parliament. How will you ensure that your voice is heard and that you effectively represent your constituents?
Thank you very much, Lillian. You know very well that young people, very many young people in this country have been neglected, and that's why even the new constitution, our constitution right now, considers young people in the category of the affirmative action group, and very many young people also have lost hope in terms of they don't have someone who can push some of the agendas in Parliament because you'll realize that we've been put aside as and yet we are not disabled. We are not. I mean, being young is not a disability. As we move into the Parliament, there are so many things that we need to put to the table. There are so many legislation. I know Sakaja really tried in the 11th Parliament to push some of the legislation. We'll be there to give in support now to ensure that we have conducive environment for initiating business for young people. We have conducive environment for creating employments. There are legislations that need to be put in place. I know the Jubilee government in the last 5 years really tried to lay some ground on how we can support these young people. The 30% procurement rule, the ways of fund, and some of the legislations that came in place. I think something needs to be done more than that. We must ensure that some of the companies, for example, that are selling their products in Kenya, for example, Toyota, we have motorbikes, so many motorbikes we are buying here. We can encourage them, give them a conducive environment to set up plants, for example, so that, of course, our electricity has been a bit expensive, and the government is working on that to ensure that we have more power, so that we can ensure that we can push cost of industrialization down, so that we can encourage more industries to come and set up in this country, so that we can create more opportunities for young people, for employment and also for business. So I know very well that I'm being looked upon by very many young people. The young legislatures that have been elected are being looked upon by very many Kenyans and young people, so that we can bring some change, and we can also bring legislations that can help them in terms of employment and business. Number two, when I focus to Langata constituency, as I said, there are so many challenges in terms of water, the roads, the security. Those ones we will fix it in terms of knocking the right offices and pushing so that we can ensure that those things are done. But as Nixon Korir, I want to be remembered for one thing: empowerment programs, both in terms of education and in terms of economic empowerment. I have a CDF because the resource that I'm controlling as an MP is a CDF, and CDF is purposely for education and security. Most of the things in terms of education is in terms of bursaries to support the young people to go to school. As I said before, I'm a product of a community fundraising that came together. I'm also a product of bursary. I was given an opportunity. My MP then gave me some bursary when I was going to school, and I also want to give back to ensure that those young people, very many parents, their prayer is that their children to go to school. But aside from that, there are very many young people in Langata who dropped out of school, class 8, form 2, form 4. They cannot go back to school. We cannot take them back to school. These young people need technical training. I know the government is working on a program to ensure that we can get very many young people, regardless of this, the qualification and the levels of education they have. If you're a class 7 dropout, class 4 dropout, form 4 dropout, you get a chance to go to an institution to get a technical training through the TVET institutions that are coming up. I want to push very many young people also in Langata to get this training, because when they have the training, they get an opportunity for employment or to initiate business. Right. Yes.
Well said. You are 33, Mheshimiwa. Yes. Has life changed? Are you still living the life of a normal 33-year-old? You are a member of Parliament now, but then again, you're still very young. How has life changed?
Life has changed in terms of course, life is still the same. As I said before, I live in Langata and I've still the people of Langata, but now the expectations, you know, when you are outside pointing fingers, it is easy to blame, the MP is not doing ABCD. Sometimes I forget and I say, oh, these things should have been done this way, and then I realize I'm the one who's supposed to do it. Now I know there is a lot of responsibility. I have very many, the residents of Langata are depending on me right now in terms of pushing the agenda in Parliament and pushing, representing them in the right offices. And also, I mean, to carry myself well in front of the Kenyans and also represent them. Yeah. Yes. Okay. The attention, I mean, right now, I mean.
Yeah. Yes. And the ladies are asking, because and I know you're well aware that the ladies are all about your looks. I posted your image on my Instagram and the ladies went gaga. I mean, how do you feel about all this attention?
I just want to say thank you. Just want to say thank you. Yeah. And
thank you.
Thank you.
And you're a family man.
Yes, yes. Yes, I am married. I am married. I am now 6 years into my marriage to my lovely wife Beryl, and I have 2 daughters, Maya and Sasha.
Nice.
Yes.
Very nice. I want to just finish as we read out the comments as we finish. Congratulations, Mheshimiwa. You seem to understand the plight of Langata people. This is the Vicar of St. Paul, South Sea. Somebody is saying, congratulations, Generali. My name is Paul Masila. I've lived in Karen since 1972. Believe me, we have never had a public toilet in Karen Shopping Center. Somebody here is saying, Nixon, we voted for you. How will you help us get water in Langata? He addressed the issue of water. We are totally forgotten. I don't know where our water went, yet we pay standing bills to City Council. This is Mama Gitao. Thanks for sharing, Mama Gitao. And one more, again, on the water situation. This seems to be a huge issue in Langata. This is Melody. And somebody here, once again, on water. Water clearly is the biggest issue. But one more, there are too many open manholes in Langata. Please help them have them covered and cleared of plastic before the coming rains. This is Eunice from Langata. I think just an issue there surrounding drainage, and I believe you will address the issue of the public toilet concerns in Karen. So your parting remarks to your constituents, Mheshimiwa, as we close this interview.
I just want to tell the people of Langata, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to serve as a member of Parliament for the next 5 years. And I want to say that the other day I was selling my agenda. Now you gave me an opportunity, I will work for them. And I want to say this, as young people, I want to encourage very many young people. You know, we've been told you're the leaders of tomorrow for a very long time. I want to motivate them and tell them your dreams you can reach your dreams so long as you work for it. And I want to tell them that we are here to set a good example and we will be ready to hold their hand. Young people, wherever you are in this country, if you come from Kisumu, Mombasa, you know, you have a brother that will hold your hand. For Langata residents, we'll work. I know there's so many challenges, as I said before. We will represent them in Parliament very well. We'll represent them in terms of knocking the right offices. And in terms of CDF and the bursaries that the CDF that we have, we'll ensure that we manage it properly so that the right people can benefit. You know, Lillian, I represent the rich, the middle class, and the poor because I have slums. I have slums in South Sea, Kismayo, KPS slum, Kijiji slum in Southlands. I have the whole slum of Undugu, Silanga, and Soweto in High-Rise. I have Bangladesh in Mugumweni on your way to Rongai, Kuinda and Karen, Gataka and Bulbul. You know, those are slums, small slums in Langata that very many people are struggling to put food on their table. While also I have the rich who can afford anything. They can drill their water. You know, they just want to ensure that we have security, we have good roads. I will represent all of them.
Right.
Yes.
Final question. We're closing now, Robert. That's my director. It's a Saturday. So share with us something that a lot of people don't know about you. What don't a lot of people know about you? Let's begin with your pet peeve. What do you find extremely annoying?
A pet or what?
Like, what do you find extremely annoying? What annoys you about people, things, situations? What don't you like? What annoys you? What irritates you?
Lies.
Lies.
Yes. Hate lies.
So you don't like lies.
Yes.
Okay. And what are you extremely good at? What is it? What do you do for fun? What don't most people know about their Mheshimiwa?
I dance.
I wish our DJ was here to what? He danced to what?
I dance.
What music?
I mean,
what's your favorite
I'm a free
music?
soul, you know.
It could be rumba,
reggae, you know. I can dance to anything.
What's your favorite music?
Reggae.
Reggae.
Yes.
Wow. You don't look like a reggae guy.
I love reggae.
Okay. And
I love the message.
Yes. Okay, fine. And football, soccer. What
No,
sports?
I don't.
Rugby?
No.
No.
I was an athlete, by the way.
Yeah?
Yes, so
A runner.
I can watch the marathon, the 2 hours.
You can.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. It's been absolutely great hosting Mheshimiwa here.
Thank you.
This is the Langata Member of Parliament, Nixon Korir. He's addressed your issues, responded to some of the comments that you're bringing your way, and we hope that you'll serve your people well.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. That's Citizen Weekend. My name is Lillian Muli. We'll see you again next weekend. Thanks for watching and have a lovely evening. Good night.